You ever find yourself facing a decision that's so tough it feels like there's just no right answer? You know, a choice where winning in one part of your life means you absolutely lose in another? Well, today, we're diving into a story just like that. It's a story about love, about loyalty, and a line drawn in the sand that could change everything.
So, let me ask you this right off the bat. Imagine the person you're planning to spend your life with looks you right in the eye and tells you to choose them or your dream job. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, for one young woman, this became her actual unbelievable reality.
So, how in the world did they get to this breaking point? I mean, this is a huge deal. To really feel the weight of this choice, we've got to go back to the beginning of their story.
Okay, so how they got here, it's a wild and honestly a pretty tragic story. It all started in college, your classic love story. After they graduated, he gets a fantastic job, and get this, in a huge show of support, he pays for her entire master's degree. Then he even helps her land a job at his own company. They were a total team, but then disaster strikes. He gets into this really bitter fight with his bosses, it blows up into a legal battle, and he loses, he gets fired. And then comes the twist that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. The company turns around and promotes her into his old job, his exact position.
And that's what led to this, the final, crushing ultimatum. He basically told her, "You have to quit. I cannot handle you working there with the people who did this to me." If she didn't leave that job, he would leave her. The relationship would be over. Just like that. All right, so let's try to get inside his head for a minute. It's really easy to just label this guy as controlling, right? But from his point of view, this isn't about control. This is about love, it's about loyalty, and it's about an emotional pain that he feels is just unbearable.
This quote, this really tells you everything you need to know about his side of the story. For him, the thought of his fiancée walking into that office every day, working with the people who he feels humiliated him, it's like reopening a wound every single morning. It's not just a job, it's the scene of his greatest defeat.
So let's break down his thinking here. To him, love is forever. Jobs, they come and go. He feels like his emotional health has to be the top priority, and, he did invest in her future, big time. He paid for her education. That wasn't a business deal. That was an act of love and commitment. And now, he feels like that love should be paid back with loyalty. He's even suspicious that the company is just promoting her to twist the knife, to use her success as a weapon against him.
Okay, so now let's flip the coin and look at her side of this impossible choice. Because for her, this isn't just about a great career move. It's about their financial future, her own independence, and a huge waving red flag.
And this, right here, this is the fear that's probably keeping her up at night. If she gives in on this, what's the next demand going to be? If he can tell her to quit her job today, what else is he going to feel like he has the right to control after they're married? This one decision could set the pattern for their entire life together.
Her case is really built on two things: principles and cold, hard reality. First, the ultimatum itself is a massive warning sign. But second, there's the practical side. Jobs in their specialized field are incredibly hard to find. Walking away could mean she's unemployed for a long, long time. And they're about to get married. They need that financial stability. She believes a partner should be your biggest cheerleader, not feel threatened by your success. At the end of the day, she feels a healthy relationship is about compromise, not commands, that could blow up their entire future just to soothe one person's ego.
So what we're really looking at here isn't just one couple's argument. Nope, this is a head-on collision between two fundamentally different ways of seeing a partnership. It's a battle between emotional needs and practical security.
The whole thing really boils down to two competing ideas. On one side, you've got emotional loyalty. This is the belief that your partner's feelings come first, period. Real love means you stand by them, you sacrifice, no matter what it costs. But on the other side, you've got future security. This idea says that a strong partnership is a practical one, built on financial stability and supporting each other's individual growth. Neither one is wrong, but in this story, they are in a direct, painful conflict.
And the tool being used to force this choice is, of course, the ultimatum. It's a total power move, right? It just shuts down any chance for negotiation and replaces it with a threat. By its very nature, an ultimatum creates a winner and a loser, and that is a really dangerous dynamic to bring into a partnership that's supposed to be about equality.
Let's just look at this side by side, because it's so clear. His core value? Solidarity. His biggest fear? Betrayal. What he wants is for her to choose him, to prove his pain matters most.
To him, that job is just a symbol of his humiliation. Now look at her. Her core value? Security and independence. Her biggest fear? Being controlled and having an unstable future. She wants a compromise. To her, that job is a rare opportunity for both of them. When you lay it out like this, man, you can see just how far apart they really are.
So this whole thing brings us to the final and maybe the most important question. This isn't just about one fight, it's about defining the absolute limits of a relationship. It's about figuring out what your deal breakers really are.
At the end of the day, whatever she decides is going to set the tone for the rest of their lives together. Think about it. If she quits, does that establish a pattern where his emotional demands always win out over their practical needs? But if she keeps the job, does that prove to him that he can't count on her in a crisis? This one single choice is basically them writing the fundamental rules for their future.
And that's what I want to leave you with. A question for all of us, really. When it comes to the people we love, what's non-negotiable? What sacrifice is just too much to ask? In that delicate, tricky balance between two people's needs and their dreams and their fears, where do you draw the line?